Hey, with Aldora's Chess, and today I'm going to talk about the English opening. It is one of my favorite openings. It's a flank opening. It's very versatile, but first a little bit of history. The opening originated from London. It was first played by Howard Staunton, or the first one recorded playing it, and it starts with 1c4, and then you already have the English opening. So when you play the first move 1c4, it is already called the English opening. So what are the characteristics of the English opening? It tends to be more positional and strategic. That doesn't mean it's not a tactical opening. That doesn't mean it's always positional, always strategic. But in most cases, it tends to be more positional and strategic, because you build up, and then in 20, 30 moves, it's gonna explode the position. But it's not. It's a lot of pieces stay on the board in general, and it's more about creating weaknesses and targeting weaknesses than going for an attack and killing the enemy. So it is a flank opening. You can maybe say it's the Sicilian for white, because when black plays the Sicilian, he controls the center with the flank pawn. In the English, you start with controlling the center with the flank pawn, and it's a very flexible opening. It can transpose in the Queen's Gambit declined, the Reti. It can go into so many variations. It is not very forced variations, and most variations aren't that tactical. That means you have choices between a lot of moves. You don't have to play that move or you're dead. So it's also a very solid opening. Not many traps, not many opening traps. People say you have to know a lot of key IDs for this opening, instead of just learning every move like a Knight of Sicilian. It has a lot of unforced variations. But I have to say, with every year, there's more and more theory. In some theory now, every year in the English, some lines are getting more forced, and because people have played it a lot and they use engines, and now there is it is becoming less and less of doing whatever you want in the English, because people know now how to punish your opponent for certain moves. And in most cases, we're going to control with white the light squares or the white squares with our fianchetto bishop, because we see that in most this is the ideal structure for white if black just doesn't do anything. So in most cases, we play c4, then we push our knight, we control the center with our pawns, we are going to fianchetto our light square bishop, and then we control the center with our knight, pawns, and bishop. And we're not going to develop our knight to f3 like in most openings, but to e2, so that our white bishop can just cut the board in half. And you see, in this structure, every piece is on the board. So it's not like a Nimzo Indian where you exchange pieces. It is a very it's very rich opening. A lot of pieces stay on the board, and the opponent isn't forced to take any pieces of you, and you are not forced to take any pieces of your opponent. But this structure is your ideal structure. But in 99% of the cases, your opponent will do something. So, but this is the ideal structure. Now I'm going to talk about the most common replies. So I call it for black the King's English, or it's a reverse Sicilian. In my opinion, is the most natural way to respond for white. White is going to control the center with his c pawn. Okay, black says, if you're gonna control the center with your c pawn, I'm just gonna control the center with my d pawn, my center pawn. And then white just develops, black develops his knights, white is going to fianchetto, and they're both going to castle, and we have this equal looking game, like a reverse Sicilian, but then for white. If also very popular is a symmetrical English. I'm not a big fan of symmetrical openings or symmetrical replies, but it is a very it can get very sharp, and some lines in here are very poisonous for both colors, and it is a very rich. Even though it's symmetrical, I have to admit that in this symmetrical English, it's really a fighting game, and it can go crazy very fast. Then you have the semi-Slav or Slav against English. Semi-Slav. A lot of players nowadays play the semi-Slav or the Slav against the Queen's Gambit or the Queen's Gambit declined. So for semi-Slav players, it's very easy to also play it against the English. And what also is, most people fianchetto the bishop, because on the you play c4. So a lot of people they tend not to fianchetto. They tend to fianchetto and not play e3, because they don't like to put a bishop here. It is possible, but the point is your pawn kind of blocks your bishop. So most people prefer to go that way. And what is very good about the English, you kind of destroy this white square bishop. And most people that play semi-Slav or Slav, in my experience, are already very they're very solid players, and I think they want comfortable games. And so when you're English, just prepare that you may have a semi-Slav player against you. And then we're going to talk about two variations I really like. That is first the egging core defense. I really like to exchange my daughter square bishop for his double up his pawn, and have a very fighting, unbalanced game. A lot of people also play d5 in this position. It is not in fashion. I don't see it that often anymore. It used to be very popular in Kasparov's day, I think. But nowadays, I don't see a lot of people playing it. But personally, I'm a big fan of the egging core versus the English. And I'm also a fan of the reverse Grand Prix, like against the English. Is it the best opening? I don't think so. The engines don't like it. I like it. You get very crazy games, open games, very attacking games. It's like a Dutch. Like you either destroy your opponent or your opponent destroys you, and or you checkmate your opponent, or the opponent is gonna checkmate you. But it goes for very crazy games, and I've had one of my best games, my best memories with the reverse Grand Prix versus the English. I really love this. It is very sharp and very open game. So this is my video on the English. I hope you enjoyed it.